We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DT India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Government shutdown looms in U.S. as the House of Representatives fails to pass funding bill. Move pushes government closer to a holiday shutdown. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says U.S. Europe must work together to secure Ukraine peace. In Nigeria, at least 35 children killed in a stampede at a school fair, 8 people arrested, an investigation initiated to probe the cause. And in sports, India beat the West Indies by 60 runs in third women's T20 innings, clinch 3-match series 2-1. And on to the details. Government shutdown looms in the U.S. after the House of Representatives failed to pass a revised short-term spending bill endorsed by President-elect Donald Trump. The bill needed a two-thirds majority in the House to pass, but lawmakers rejected it with 174 in support and 235 against. The rejection comes just a day before the federal government is set to run out of cash, threatening widespread disruptions, including potential delays in holiday travel. The bill, which resembled a previous version that Trump and Musk had criticized, included provisions to fund the government until March, when Trump will officially take office and Republicans will control both chambers of the Congress. It also proposed $100 billion in disaster relief and aimed to lift the debt ceiling for 2 years. Well, the lawmakers are racing to avoid a government shutdown when funding runs out on Friday night. If the new bill fails to pass by midnight Friday night, the government will partially shut down. In the event of a shutdown, Medicare applicants could cease. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees may be furloughed, and the number of available air traffic controllers and TSA agents could drop, potentially creating travel delays during the holidays. However, essential services are expected to continue as they have during previous government shutdowns, when power grid maintenance, border protection and in-hospital medical care continued operations. Also, Speaker of the House of Representatives Mike Johnson expressed hope that the bill will be passed on Friday night so that it can be sent to the Senate.
I hope that this vote passes tonight. We will send it to the Senate. We will extend funding, and we'll come back, and we will have the America First agenda come in roaring in January for the American people. Thank you so much.
Well, the 27 European Union leaders gathered in Brussels on Thursday to reaffirm support for Ukraine ahead of second Trump term. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy attended the summit and called on Donald Trump to join forces with Europe to help save Ukraine after the conflict ends. The plea came amid concerns that the NATO skeptic U.S. President-elect might undermine Kyiv's efforts by reducing American support for the conflict.
I think that President Trump is a strong man, and I want very much to have him on our side. For me, it's very important. I want to discuss with him more details about this war. I think it's very important because he was not in this war, because he was not the president. It's understandable. And I want to share with him more details.
Well, Zelenskyy added that European security guarantees and a frozen conflict would not be enough for Ukraine, which aspires to join transatlantic military alliance NATO.
We must understand with you that we cannot live with a frozen conflict. When it comes to a ceasefire in any conflict, in any war, people know what will happen after, how it will all end. We need to know what tomorrow is in order to make a ceasefire today. Otherwise, you are going to create a frozen conflict, and that's it. And that's why Ukraine needs security guarantees, a strong position of Ukraine and security guarantees. Of course, Ukraine wants the war to end.
Meanwhile, the European Union announced additional 30 billion euros of financial support to Ukraine in 2025 after meeting with EU leaders in Brussels.
We will implement the 15 sanctions package against Russia we approve this week. This package closes loopholes and limits circumvention and especially targets the so-called shadow fleet. Second, we have already delivered about 130 billion euros of financial support, and we will deliver an additional 30 billion euro in 2025.
Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin emphasized that Russia needs long-term peace and not a ceasefire in Ukraine on Thursday. At his annual press conference in Moscow, Putin said Russia has no preconditions for starting negotiations with Ukraine, emphasizing that the country is ready to engage in talks. He added Ukraine operation had seen major changes as Russian soldiers are progressing towards accomplishing their primary goals, making advances on the battlefield, while Ukrainian forces are continuously retreating and unable to hold their positions. And U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor John Feiner has raised alarms over Pakistan's burgeoning long-range ballistic missile capabilities. Feiner said that the nuclear-armed Pakistan's ballistic missile capabilities eventually could allow it to strike targets well beyond South Asia, making it an emergency threat to the United States. Speaking a day after Washington announced a new round of sanctions related to Pakistan's ballistic missile development program, including for the first time against the state-run defense agency that oversees the program. Feiner also said the number of nuclear-armed states with missiles that can reach the U.S. homeland is very small and they tend to be adversarial. He thus asserted that it's hard for the U.S. to see Pakistan's actions as anything other than an emergency threat to the United States. And Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan met with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on the sidelines of a D8 summit on Thursday. Erdogan discussed the developments in Syria as well as bilateral relations with all three countries' leaders. He also discussed with Sisi increasing cooperation between Turkey and Egypt to help Gaza. Egypt is hosting the summit of the D8 Organization for Economic Cooperation, which also includes Bangladesh, Indonesia, Malaysia, Nigeria, Turkey and Pakistan. The D8 was established in 1997 to improve cooperation between countries stretching from Southeast Asia to Africa. Well, the Pentagon announced the U.S. currently has approximately 2,000 troops in Syria, more than double the previously disclosed number of 900. The U.S. has said for years that there were about 900 troops in Syria, but Pentagon spokesperson Major General Pat Ryder acknowledged there were roughly 2,000 there now. Ryder added that the additional troops are considered temporary forces that had been sent to support the counter-Islamic State militants' mission. The Pentagon was asked repeatedly about the U.S. presence in Syria in the wake of the chaotic overthrow of Syrian President Bashar Assad on December 8th. It did not disclose the increase and instead kept repeating the 900 figure. Well, a stampede at a school fun fair in the southwestern Nigerian city of Ibadan has killed 35 children and seriously injured 6 others. The incident occurred at an Islamic high school where a large crowd had gathered for a family event. Emergency services, including medical personnel and ambulances, were immediately dispatched to the scene. Security forces were also deployed to control the situation and prevent further casualties. 8 people have been arrested, including the main sponsor of the event. Oyo State Deputy Governor Beo Lawal said the government will dig deeper into this incident as a probe has also been opened into the stampede.
And from immediate inquiries that I have made, the security agencies said they were not contacted at all the police, but the resultant effect of this very careless act is the huge death that we have recorded, unfortunately, and unavoidably too.
Well, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu on Thursday expressed profound sadness and offered his heartfelt condolences to the grieving families over the tragic incident. Nigeria has seen several deadly stampedes in recent months. In March, 2 students died and 23 were hurt after being crushed in central Nigeria. Later that month, another stampede killed 4 women in the northern city of Bauchi, where members of the crowd pushed to get hold of the money, causing a stampede as Nigeria grappled with its worst economic crisis in a generation. And moving on, Australia has struck a new security agreement with Solomon Islands to bolster the size of the Pacific Island nation's police force. The Australian government has committed $190 million to grow the Royal Solomon Islands Police Force and establish a new police training centre in Honiara. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and his Solomon Islands counterpart Jerima Manile said the new assistance package would provide the Pacific nation with an enduring sovereign security capability. Australia has been scrambling to preserve its strategic influence in Solomon Islands after China struck its own security and policing agreements with the former Prime Minister Manessa Sogavare. And 6 days after Cyclone Chido brought widespread devastation to the Indian Ocean archipelago, residents in parts of Mayotte are still without water, food or shelter. People in storm-ravaged Mayotte implored French President Emmanuel Macron on Thursday to do more to help as he toured the overseas territory where scores are feared dead in the rubble left by Cyclone Chido. During his visit to the affected island, Macron confirmed December 23rd as a day of national mourning. Officials in France's overseas territory have only been able to confirm 31 fatalities more than 5 days after the cyclone, but some have said they fear thousands could have been killed. And now let's take a look at other stories making news across the globe. U.S. President Joe Biden will travel to Rome in January to meet with Pope Francis and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Biden spoke with Pope Francis on Thursday and thanked him for his continued advocacy to alleviate global suffering, including his work to advance human rights and protect religious freedom. Texas is launching a visceral billboard campaign in Mexico and Central America to deter illegal immigration by highlighting sexual assault and other dangers. The billboard campaign cost about $100,000 and aims to turn back migrants thinking of crossing illegally before Trump takes office on January 20th. Llamas and giraffes at a London zoo on Thursday got an early festive dinner of edible Christmas wreaths and hanging decorations. The Conservation Zoo's tallest residents used their 50-centimeter-long tongues to retrieve traditional Christmas dinner vegetables or Brussels sprouts from plastic canisters. While a trio of rare newborn Northern African lion cubs were also welcomed at Whipsnade. Star pastry chef Jan Kronauer describes the fox as a symbol that offers unparalleled creative scope in his brand, stating it embodies a strength beyond his own. With a presence spanning a dozen boutiques in Paris, Dubai and Miami, Couvrier emphasizes his commitment to natural and authentic craftsmanship, reflecting his philosophy in every creation. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Delhi police files FIR against Rahul Gandhi. First visit of an Indian Prime Minister to Kuwait in 43 years, all set to cement historic ties between both the countries. And Christmas market opens in Syria's Damascus after Assad's ouster.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lapakshi Kuran, and moving on, the winter session of Indian Parliament to conclude today with the lower house to take up several bills for consideration. Readjustment of representation of scheduled tribes in assembly constituencies of the state of Goa Bill 2024, carriage of goods by sea Bill 2024, bills of lading Bill 2024, Oil Fields Regulation and Development Amendment Bill 2024, Boilers Bill 2024, Tribhuvan Sehakari University Bill 2024 will also be introduced. The Upper House of the Parliament to take up Banking Laws Amendment Bill 2024, Disaster Management Amendment Bill 2024 and Railways Amendment Bill 2024 for consideration and passing. Well, trouble mounts for Congress leader and Lok Sabha leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi hours after the ruling party Bharatiya Janata Party lodged a complaint over allegations pertaining to physical assault and incitement during a scuffle in the parliament. Delhi police filed an FIR against Rahul Gandhi. The case against the former Congress chief was registered under various sections including 117, 125, 131 and 351 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. A face-off at the Parliament entry steps between the opposition and NDA MPs in Parliament premises over the alleged insult to B.R. Ambedkar left former Minister Pratap Chandra Sarangi and Mukesh Rajput injured. Following the incident, the ruling party filed the police complaint against the Congress leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi, accusing him of physical assault and incitement, and sought his indictment under sections of attempt to murder and other charges. Well, the Indian diaspora in Kuwait is elated at the news of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic visit to the country. The two-day visit by Prime Minister Modi is coming after over 4 decades by any Indian Prime Minister and is all set to cement the historic ties between the two countries and strengthen the cultural, trade and people-to-people connect between India and Kuwait. Here's a conversation by DT India correspondent Akshay Dongre with several prominent members of the Indian diaspora who are awaiting the arrival of PM Modi to the country.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is making a historic visit to Kuwait. The relation between the two countries have been historically very strong, but it is going to be a huge impetus to the relation between the two countries with this historic visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister in over 40 years.
After Modi ji took charge, our respect in Kuwait and I think worldwide has improved. Indian passport is now one of the very leading passports. Earlier people were trying to immigrate to America, Canada. I think now it's going to reverse immigration that started. So in Kuwait, we are very proud of our Indian passport and Kuwaitis respect us a lot. They respect the Indians a lot.
Already the impact is there when he's sitting in India. But once he comes here, our respect, our Indians as Indians and the India's respect will increase more in Kuwait especially and internationally also.
Everybody individual out of 1.1 million Indians and Kuwaitis which are connected because it's a host country. They all are very, very excited to meet him, to greet him, and everybody say, Modi hai, to mumkin hai. Because the kind of work he has done in India, the kind of connect he has with all the Indians in Kuwait, with all the community, irrespective of any community, this is unparalleled and unmatchable.
This visit hopefully will bring and take bilateral relations to a new level. We've been waiting for this for a long time. We are aware that some developments may take place that will help the community as a whole, and we are really excited about it, and I think his visit will create some new impetus with the new government in Kuwait as well.
Modi, 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 Modi hai to mumkin hai.
Modi
मोदी है तो मुमकिन है.
Modi hai to mumkin hai is what the Indian community here has to say, the Indian diaspora, and as the experts have also been saying that this is the community that forms the backbone of also the Kuwaiti society as well. So clearly excitement brewing up before the visit of the Indian Prime Minister here in the country. With camera person Shiva Makshi Dongre, DD India.
Well, India celebrates the 61st Foundation Day of the Sahastra Seema Bal or SSB at Frontier Headquarters in West Bengal, Siliguri. Union Home Minister Amit Shah would be attending the parade ceremony and inauguration of newly constructed residential complex of Border Guarding Force at ICP, Agartala and Petrapol. SSB remains committed to national security and the safety of border area residents. The force remains vigilant in preventing illegal movements along the border and takes strict measures to curb unlawful activities on the Nepal-Bhutan border. And on Thursday, Home Minister Amit Shah chaired a high-level security review meeting on Jammu and Kashmir in New Delhi on Thursday. Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory, Manoj Sinha, along with top senior officials from the Army, paramilitary forces, Jammu and Kashmir administration, intelligence agencies and the Ministry of Home Affairs attended the meeting. Addressing the meeting, the Home Minister said that in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's zero-tolerance policy against terrorism, we will achieve the goal of terror-free Jammu and Kashmir at the earliest, and all resources will be made available for this. The minister appreciated efforts of the security agencies for a significant decline in terrorist incidents, infiltration and recruitment of youth in terrorist organizations. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Free medical camp was organized in Rajouri, Jammu and Kashmir, aiming to provide quality healthcare services to the local community. The camp featured specialists from various medical fields offering free consultations, diagnostic services and treatment to residents. Hundreds of patients, including women, children and elderly individuals, benefited from the initiative, which also included awareness sessions on preventive healthcare. A joint mock drill was conducted in Puri. The exercise focused on enhancing preparedness and coordination for disaster management scenarios, particularly in cyclone-prone areas. The drill simulated rescue operations, evacuation techniques and emergency response protocols to ensure readiness for real-life disasters. It also aimed to boost interagency collaboration, test equipment functionality and spread awareness among local communities about safety measures. Prayagraj railway station builds sleeping pods for travellers ahead of Mahakumbh Mela. Designed to offer comfort and convenience, these pods are equipped with amenities like charging points, reading lights and air conditioning. The initiative aims to accommodate the massive influx of devotees expected for the grand religious gathering, ensuring a restful and hassle-free experience for the pilgrims. The iconic Santhom Cathedral Basilica Church in Chennai has been illuminated with vibrant and colorful lights, creating a festive atmosphere ahead of the Christmas. Visitors and devotees are thronging the basilica to witness the stunning visuals and participate in the Christmas festivities, including special prayers, carol singing and midnight mass. Well, thousands of Amazon workers on Thursday launched what they call the largest strike against Amazon in U.S. history, seeking to maximize pressure on the retail behemoth at the height of the holiday shopping season. The job action targets 7 Amazon facilities based around the United States. Workers in the pickets include Amazon employees who are affiliated with the Teamsters labor union and trucksters who transport packages in and out of the facilities. Warehouse workers in cities including New York, Atlanta and San Francisco are taking part in the largest strike against Amazon. The company, however, said it does not expect any effect on its operations during one of the busiest times of the year. And on to some sports news. In women's cricket, India defeated West Indies in their 30-20 innings in Mumbai on Thursday night to clinch the series 2-1. Smriti Mandhana and Richa Ghosh's 50s along with Radha Yadav's 4-wicket haul propelled India to the win. Top batters, quick-fire knock and handy cameos by Jemima Rodrigues and Raghvi Bisht saw India score a mammoth target of 217. Meanwhile, West Indies finished on 157 for 9 in 20 overs to hand India 60 runs victory. Earlier in the week, India received a 9-wicket thrash by West Indies in the second T20 innings. In the opener, India was clinical as they handed a 47 runs defeat to West Indies. And a Christmas market opened in Damascus on Thursday, 10 days after the ouster of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's regime. Visitors flocked to the market where they strolled around and took pictures next to Christmas decorations. They expressed hope for Syria to be rebuilt as a country for all sects and religion. And before we wrap up, a quick reminder, India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has recently launched Waves, entering the field of OTT platform. Waves provide a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audiences. If you also want great content for free, then download Waves today. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Nipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.